In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Hello everybody, hope you are doing great. You're watching FOADEBATE. What is currently unfolding around Gaza and Trump's peace plan is not merely news or a political military conflict. It is a turning point where previous meanings collapse, opening new horizons for interpretation and redefinition of the word. Today, Gaza is not just a battlefield, but a space for the displacement of meanings. Israel, which has long portrayed itself as the only democracy in the Middle East, has now become, for a significant portion of global public opinion, a discriminatory and racist state. The United States, once regarded as the leader of the free world, in the reflection of this war, increasingly resembles a weary hegemony caught in a crisis of legitimacy. The post-Gaza world is redefining narratives. Palestine, which used to be on the periphery of global news, has now become the focal point of public conscience. Universities, social movements, and even segments of Western societies no longer recognize the formal discourse of governments. This is the crisis of legitimacy, a time when power can no longer provide meaning. In this context, some may argue if Trump's peace plan ends the Gaza crisis, it demonstrates that the US remains the uncontested power and that the liberal global order is intact. This argument may seem valid at first glance, yet it overlooks the critical distinction between merely managing a crisis and maintaining legitimacy. The US still possesses tools of pressure and influence, but hegemonic power is not solely about the ability to impose will. Hegemony is a combination of force and consent. What has collapsed today is the consent and moral political legitimacy. In other words, while Washington may be able to place a forced agreement on the negotiation table, it cannot cement its meaning in the global public conscience. Today, the world stands at a historic crossroads. Gaza has shown that history can move with devastating speed. Meanings that took decades to collapse can shatter in just a few months. The future is still pregnant with astonishing events, as this crisis could either pave the way for a new and fairer order or lead to prolonged chaos. What is certain is that after Gaza, nothing retains its previous meaning, neither Israel, nor the United States, nor the international order. As we reflect on the transformative moment, it becomes evident that the narratives surrounding conflict, power, and justice are being rewritten. The traditional frameworks that once defined international relations and geopolitical strategies are increasingly being challenged. The voice of the marginalized, particularly those from Palestine, are gaining prominence, demanding recognition of accountability. This shift is not merely a reaction to current events. It represents a deeper yearning for justice and equity in a world that has often sidelined these values. The role of social media and grassroots movements cannot be understated in this context. Information flows more freely than ever, allowing individuals and communities to share their stories and perspectives directly with a global audience. This democratization of information has empowered activists and ordinary citizens alike to challenge prevailing narratives and mobilize support for their causes. The images and stories emerging from Gaza has sparked widespread outrage and solidarity transcending borders and resonating with people from diverse backgrounds. Moreover, the geopolitical landscape witnessing a recalibration of alliances and rivalries. Countries that once remained silent are now being compelled to take a stand, aligning themselves with the growing calls for justice and human rights. This shift reflects a broader awakening to the realities faced by oppressed populations and rejection of the status quo that has perpetuated inequality. In the face of these changes, traditional powers must grapple with their legitimacy and the moral implications of their foreign policies. The reliance on military might and economic sanctions is increasingly viewed as inadequate in addressing the complex web of issues that define modern conflicts. Instead, there is a growing recognition of the need for dialogue, empathy, and genuine engagement with affected communities. As we move forward, the question remains, what kind of world do we want to build? The event in Gaza serves as both a warning and an opportunity. They remind us that history is not predetermined. It is shaped by our actions, choices, and collective will. The potential for a new just order hinges on our ability to listen, learn, and act in solidarity with those who have long been marginalized. In conclusion, the aftermath of Gaza is a clarion call for change. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions, confront our complicity, and engage in meaningful dialogue about peace and justice. The path ahead may be fraught with challenges, but it is also rich with possibilities for transformation. The world is at a crossroads, and the decision we make today will reverberate for generations to come. The so-called Trump peace plan has been widely criticized as a facade for continued domination rather than a genuine effort to achieve peace in the region. By prioritizing the interest of the certain power players while sidelining the rights and aspirations of the Palestinian people, this plan perpetuates a cycle of oppression and conflict. It embodies a unilateral approach that fails to address the root causes of the Palestinian struggle, instead aiming to consolidate control and maintain the status quo. In a stark contrast, the alternative proposed by Iran, which was articulated by Iran's supreme leader in 2019 and formally registered with the United Nations Security Council, offers a comprehensive framework for a just and lasting resolution to the Palestinian issue. The proposed plan for resolving the Palestinian issue is built on several key principles and implementation mechanisms. It enforces the right of Palestinian refugees to return to their historical homeland and calls for a national referendum among all residents of Palestine, including followers of all religions who lived there before the Balfour Declaration. The political system will be established based on the majority decision from this referendum, which will also address the status of non-indigenous residents. To facilitate this, all people of Palestine, including Muslims, Christians, and Jews, will have the right to participate in the referendum, with representatives from the communities taking primary roles in planning and implementation. A global project for comprehensive identification and registration of all Palestinian citizens, especially refugees, will be initiated with international oversight. And international committees, supported by the United Nations and Palestinian representatives, will focus on key issues like historical sovereignty and territorial matters. Additionally, an international fund will be established to support the implementation of the plan, ensuring a structured and inclusive approach to achieving peace and justice in the region. At the end, I kindly ask you to highlight this issue as well to raise awareness globally. Please share your thoughts in the comment section and participate in this discussion. If you are interested in these topics, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Thank you so much. Until the next video, have a great day.